Welcome back to the deep dive.
Oh.
Okay, I want you to take a second and just, look at your dog or your cat.
Right.
Maybe they're asleep on the rug, maybe twitching their paws, or they're giving you that intense look that just means feed me.
Yep. The feed me stare. I know that one well.
We have this very fixed idea of what they are, right? Companions,
Yeah.
family. Maybe if you go back 100 years, they were farmhands or mousers.
Right. We tend to categorize them entirely by their relationship to us, to our immediate needs. Are they cute? Do they catch mice?
Exactly. Where we have a stack of reports here today that suggests we are missing a massive, an emerging third category. It's not pet,
Yeah.
and it's not just working animal in that old sense.
No, it's something much more high-tech. We're seeing this complete shift toward viewing domestic animals as functional biological assets.
Asset sounds a little cold.
I know it does, but the application is actually incredibly hopeful. We're talking about using the evolutionary hardware of our pets to solve ecological problems that human technology, well, it just can't touch.
We're calling it the functional pet paradigm.
That's the term. It's this sudden realization that while we've been spending billions building drones and sensors and chemical detectors,
We've had these, biological supercomputers sleeping on our couches the whole time.
the whole time.
And the scope today is huge. I mean, looking at this outline, it is wild. We've got dogs sniffing out birds that live inside volcanoes.
We have sheepdogs acting as like psychological warfare agents at airports.
And even a domestic goat giving birth to an extinct species.
The scope is absolutely massive.
But the mission of this deep dive isn't just to list cool animal facts for a dinner party, though you'll definitely get some of those.
Oh, for sure.
It's to show you how the line between domestic and wild is getting blurry, and how our pets might be the only thing standing between some wild species and total extinction.
And if we're going to talk about this biological hardware, we have to start with the most sophisticated piece of equipment in the room,
The nose.
the nose.
Okay, let's unpack this. I think most people know dogs have a good sense of smell. But looking at the data here, good doesn't really cover it. The gap between us and them it's frankly humiliating.
It is. It's not a difference in degree. It's a difference in kind, a completely different way of perceiving reality. So to put some numbers on it, humans have about 6 million olfactory receptors. Sounds like a lot, right?
Sure, 6 million seems substantial.
Until you realize a dog has up to 300 million.
So that's a hardware difference of 50 to 1?
Roughly, yeah. But the software difference, the processing power, is even bigger. The part of their brain for analyzing those scents is proportionally 40 times larger than in a human.
Wow.
So they aren't just smelling more, they are building a 3D map of the world through scent in a way we can't even imagine.
The reports mention they can detect volatile organic compounds, VOCs, at parts per trillion.
Which is an insane number.
I've heard the analogy that if you can taste a teaspoon of sugar in your coffee, a dog can taste it in 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
That's a fairly accurate comparison. And in conservation, this is a total game changer, specifically for what we call cryptic species.
Cryptic species, so animals that basically do not want to be found.
Exactly. Camouflaged, nocturnal, or they live in places humans just cannot go. And the case study from Hawaii is perfect. You have the akik.
Agege, great name.
It's the band-rumped storm petrel, an incredible bird. But here's the problem. They nest deep inside volcanic lava tunnels.
Okay, so picture this. You're on the side of a volcano, jagged rock, pitch black inside these tubes.
Unstable terrain. Now imagine a human researcher trying to find a bird's nest in there. You can't see it, you can't hear it. You could walk right over a tunnel where a bird is nesting and never, ever know.
A needle in a haystack made of sharp lava rock.
But the dog doesn't need to see it. It detects this faint plume of scent molecules drifting up through microscopic cracks in the rock. It turns an impossible search into a direct line.
The stats on this are just incredible. The notes highlight finding endangered mammal scat.
Scat detection is huge. It tells you who's living where without ever having to capture the animal.
Right. And the data shows dogs are nearly 5 times more effective than human surveyors at finding it. But the one that really blew my mind was the sea turtle nests.
Oh, that's a classic study.
So get this. They had human surveyors walk a 5-mile stretch of beach. They found 256 nests, which sounds decent,
You'd pat yourself on the back for that.
Totally. Until you send the dogs in behind them. The dogs found 560.
560, more than double.
And you have to realize, in conservation, that margin is life or death. If you miss a nest, you can't protect it. The humans were missing half the population. The dogs revealed the truth.
It really shows these aren't just pets helping out. They are highly specialized tools.
But it's not just about finding things that are hiding. It's about filtering through chaos. The section on the Australian bushfires really struck me. 2019, 2020. I think we all remember that footage. It was apocalyptic.
It was horrific, and for the koala population, it was catastrophic. Over 6,000 koalas died in New South Wales alone.
And the challenge there isn't just finding a koala. It's finding a live one in a landscape that smells entirely of smoke and death.
That's the nuance. A human goes into a burn zone, everything is ash, visually it's a mess. For your nose, it's just overwhelming.
Enter Bear.
Bear the dog.
Why?
A coolie mix, and his training was incredibly specific. Most conservation dogs, like the others mentioned in the report, Billie Jean and Austin, they're trained to find scat.
Which is great for mapping, like you said.
But in a fire, you don't need a map of where a koala was. You need to know where it is right now.
You need a rescue, not a survey.
Precisely. So Bear was trained to ignore the scat, which was everywhere, and ignore the smell of the fire, and lock onto the scent of live koala fur.
That seems like an incredibly difficult task, separating burning eucalyptus from live koala eating eucalyptus amid all that smoke.
It's high-level biological processing. But Bear could walk through a smoking forest and pinpoint a survivor clinging to a scorched tree that humans completely missed.
No drone, no thermal camera could do that with the same speed.
Not a chance. It's a biosensor that can distinguish between alive and everything else.
So from the nose to something, a bit more psychological, the hurting eye.
Yes.
This is the section on airports. And honestly, I hadn't realized how big of a problem this was.
It's massive. Bird strikes cost the global aviation industry over $900 million a year.
Nearly $1 billion.
And that's just the financial cost. It's dangerous for passengers. We all remember the miracle on the Hudson, and obviously fatal for the birds. And the traditional way to handle this is loud.
Sirens, pyrotechnics, propane cannons.
Basically just make a lot of noise, which works for about 3 days.
Right.
The problem is habituation. A goose is smart. A deer is adaptable. Eventually, they realize the loud boom happens every hour, but it never actually hurts them. It's just background noise.
You can't bluff nature forever.
You can't, unless you tap into something hardwired. And that's where the border collies come in.
Okay, so talk to me about the predator psychology here. Why does a dog work when a cannon fails?
It's all about evolutionary memory. When a border collie goes into work mode, it lowers its head, crouches low to the ground, and it just locks its eyes on the target. It's that intense stare.
The herding eye.
Right. To you or me, it looks like a well-trained dog, but to a goose or a deer, that silhouette, that posture, it looks indistinguishable from a hunting wolf or a coyote.
It triggers a primal fear response.
It's visceral. It bypasses the logic center of their brain and just hits the flight switch. They don't wait around, they perceive a lethal threat, and they leave.
The examples are amazing. Piper, the dog at Cherry Capital Airport in Michigan.
Piper was an absolute legend. He became famous online. He had these cool ski goggles to protect his eyes from debris. In 3 years, he chased over 9,000 birds off the tarmac.
Wow.
Snowy owls, gulls, you name it.
And the key is, he never caught them.
Right. That's the beauty of it. It's a humane deterrent. The dog wants to control the bird, not kill it. It's just herding behavior. At Yeager Airport in West Virginia, they used dogs and saw a 70% reduction in bird strikes.
70% reduction. That's a massive safety upgrade.
It is. And we see a passive version of this in roadvology, too. The reports mention that just having dogs mark their territory along a roadside creates a buffer zone.
An invisible scent fence.
Basically, deer and small mammals smell the predator urine and instinctively avoid the area. It keeps them off the highway, reduces roadkill. It's so low-tech, but it taps into that same deep programming.
So we've got the nose detecting the invisible, the posture triggering fear. But this next section takes a hard turn. It's not about hunting. It's about parenting.
Interspecies alloparenting.
This is the heart of the functional pet. We've all seen the viral videos, a dog cuddling a tiger cub. But the science here goes beyond just being cute for the internet.
It's about social bridging. Raising an orphaned wild animal is incredibly difficult. Biologically, we can keep them alive. We have the formula, the incubators.
You can get the calories in?
But psychologically, we make terrible cheetahs. We can't provide the right social cues. We don't play right. We don't discipline right. You often end up with an animal that is biologically healthy but socially broken.
Enter Blakely.
The Australian Shepherd at the Cincinnati Zoo, a professional surrogate. They had 5 orphan cheetah cubs, and Blakely stepped in. He let them climb on him, he provided warmth, but crucially, he taught them limits.
How so?
If they bit too hard, he corrected them with a growl or a nudge. That's something a human keeper can't do effectively. Blakely acted as a bridge, preventing them from imprinting on humans while giving them the social rules they needed.
And then there's Leisha in South Africa, a Labrador who raised 30 different animals.
It's incredible. Tiger cubs, a pygmy hippo, porcupines. It just shows that the maternal instinct in some domestic dogs is so flexible, it can extend across species barriers.
But if we want to talk about biological anchors, we have to talk about the goat. This part of the research felt like we jumped straight into a sci-fi novel.
This is where the functional pet concept goes cellular. We're talking somatic cell nuclear transfer,
Cloning.
using a domestic animal as a vessel for an extinct species.
Wow.
The Pyrenean ibex, a subspecies of wild goat, went extinct. Scientists had preserved cells frozen in a lab, but no mothers to carry the embryos, so they used domestic goats as surrogates.
Okay, it worked.
Technically, yes. A domestic goat carried a clone of an extinct species to term. The kid was born. Now, it died shortly after due to lung defects, which is common in early cloning. But it proved the principle. Your barnyard goat could be the key to de-extinction.
That just completely reframes the value of livestock. They're not just food, they're potential reservoirs for lost biodiversity.
Exactly. They share enough DNA with their wild ancestors to carry the torch. And that compatibility extends to their blood, too.
Xenotransfusion. Okay, this is the most surprising thing for me. You can put dog blood into a fox.
In an emergency, yes. The source details a case with an Andean fox. Hit by a car, severe internal bleeding. They didn't have another fox to donate blood. But they did have a Labrador retriever.
And the fox's immune system doesn't just reject it instantly.
Eventually it does. But dogs and foxes are close enough on the evolutionary tree, they're both canids, that the blood is compatible enough for a short time.
So it's a stopgap.
Think of it like a biological rental car. The dog blood, especially if it's the universal donor type, acts as an oxygen bridge. It keeps the fox's organs running for a few days, just long enough for its own bone marrow to wake up and start making new cells.
And then the body flushes the dog cells.
The fox's immune system destroys them after a few days, but by then the crisis is over. The dog saved the fox.
It really drives home the point about coevolution. We change these animals on the outside, but on the inside, the machinery is still compatible with the wild.
Which brings us to an interesting paradox. We've been talking about these super dogs and cloning surrogates, but what about the dogs that fail? The ones that are too energetic, too crazy for a normal home?
The bad dogs.
The failed pets?
I think every listener knows a dog like this. The one that destroys the drywall if you leave them alone for 10 minutes.
The destructive dog. In a home, that energy is a liability. It gets them returned to the shelter. But organizations like Working Dogs for Conservation specifically headhunt these dogs. They are looking for obsessive play drive.
They want the maniac.
They want the dog that will do anything for the ball, because that obsession becomes focus. That dog will work for 8 hours a day, in the heat, crawling through thorns, just for the chance to play for 30 seconds.
And they found Coda, a lab mix.
Yes, taxed with finding eastern box turtles.
Which look like rocks.
They look exactly like the forest floor. A human biologist might find 1 or 2 in a week. It's tedious work. Coda found 15 in 3 days.
That's an order of magnitude difference.
It changes the economics of conservation. And it redeems the dog. Coda goes from being a problem pet to a hero of the species.
I love that redemption arc.
Yeah.
But okay, let's say I don't have a Coda. I have a regular dog. Can I still contribute? Or is this only for the pros?
No, this is the new frontier, citizen science.
The hobbyist conservator.
We're seeing a shift where regular pet owners are being recruited as data collectors. There was a fascinating study on the spotted lanternfly.
That invasive bug that's destroying crops.
Nasty little things. They trained 182 citizen teams, just regular people and their family dogs, to identify the egg masses on trees.
And how do they do?
In controlled tests, they hit 82% accuracy.
That's professional grade.
It is. It implies we could have this distributed network of thousands of biosurveillance agents walking our neighborhoods every morning.
It's the Internet of Animals.
That's the term. We have apps now, like Animal Tracker. You aren't just walking your dog, you're patrolling a sector. You're uploading data.
But speaking of cats,
Yeah,
we have to address the elephant in the room.
we do. Predation.
The numbers in the report are heavy. I think we turn a blind eye to what Mr. Whiskers does when he goes outside.
It's a massive ecological shadow. In the U.S. alone, domestic cats kill between 1.3 and 4 billion birds a year.
Billion, with a B.
And up to 22 billion mammals. In Australia, a single roaming cat kills about 186 animals annually. If you love wildlife, those numbers are hard to swallow.
But the solution isn't necessarily to get rid of the cat. The report discusses the net positive pet.
Right. It's about mitigation. Obviously, keeping the cat indoors or in a catio, an enclosed patio, is the gold standard.
But not everyone can do that.
Right. So for those who can't, there's some really interesting tech. The Birds Be Safe collar.
It looks ridiculous.
It looks like a bright, colorful clown collar, like a scrunchie from the 80s. Your cat will look silly. But it exploits a difference in vision. Songbirds have incredible color vision. They see those bright neons from a mile away.
So the cat loses the element of surprise.
Exactly. The bird flies away long before the cat can pounce. The data shows it reduces bird mortality by roughly 80 to 90%.
And it doesn't work on mice.
No, because small mammals don't see color the same way. But for protecting bird populations, it's a game changer. And there's also the cat bib.
A neoprene bib that interferes with the pounce.
Makes them clumsy. Just enough to let the prey escape.
So if we zoom out, we've gone from dogs sniffing lava tubes to border collies on runways to blood transfusions to clown collars. What's the through line?
The through line is that we are redefining the role of the pet in the Anthropocene.
The age of humans.
We are living through a mass extinction event. We used to think of nature as something out there, and our pets as something in here, separate worlds.
But that wall is coming down.
It has to. Our pets are the bridge. They have the sensory capabilities of the wild, but they're plugged into our human networks. When we activate them, whether that's training a dog or just putting a collar on a cat, we turn a passive companion into an active conservationist.
It changes the relationship. You aren't just an owner, you're a handler.
And your pet isn't just a buddy, they're a partner in planetary health.
I want to leave the listener with a thought to chew on. We mentioned the Internet of Animals. Imagine a future, maybe 5 or 10 years from now. You're on your couch and your phone buzzes.
Not a text from a friend.
No, it's a notification from the Department of Natural Resources. It says, alert. Emerald ash borer detected in your zip code. Please activate search mode.
And you take your dog into the backyard.
You take your dog, who's been trained for this specific scent since puppyhood, maybe through a game, and you sweep the perimeter. You log the result.
Positive or negative.
And suddenly, we don't have a few dozen rangers trying to patrol the entire state. We have millions of biosurveillance units covering every square inch of suburbia.
The hardware is already there. It's sleeping at the foot of your bed.
We just have to wake it up. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Give your functional asset a scratch behind the ears for us.
We'll see you next time.